Those aren't as big of a deal, though.
Hello, again. Hello, again. Just had a job interview. Cool. Did you knock it out of the park or what? Or nah? I hope you're doing well. I'm okay, man. Hope you're doing well too, Fred. I'm drowning. I just bought a Cuban ring and dipped it in a fountain. Chain got so heavy like I'm holding up a mountain. Everywhere that I go is a light show. I'm surrounded. Polio. That's me. Paul Holio. Cricket, you're just very upset today. Not upset. Dinked off. You're dinked off today, ain't you? I've not heard the new Lady Gaga. I'll have to check it out, Sam. I know how you feel about the Lady Gaga.
I personally didn't care for new Lady Gaga
Uh-oh.
songs, but I was never the
Uh-oh.
biggest Gaga fan,
Okay.
to be fair.
Me neither. I liked Gaga when she first came out. I liked that first couple albums she dropped. Were pretty cool. And I don't run out of the room screaming when some Gaga comes on, but I have not heard the new Gaga. I liked Poker Face and Bad Romance. Bad Romance is my favorite Gaga song. And my favorite Gaga video. That video is fucking amazing.
Now, if you're into Gaga, I'd recommend the new Kesha. It slaps.
Kesha. I see.
Kesha slaps.
Damn, I didn't think Kesha was going to ever come back.
She's back.
Hi, Paul. I got to stay home from work today because I accidentally tried to chop off my thumb with a hatchet. Naughty priest, you need your thumbs. A farmer with no thumbs is like I don't know, it's like a cow with no milk.
And I've heard worse, like my grandpa sucked off his fingernail with something.
Sucked off? Oh, okay. Got it.
Like, lost his fingernail because it got sucked into some equipment or whatever.
I mean, I'd rather lose a fingernail than my whole thumb. My husband only likes metal, and he loved it. Well, Sam says she saw Kesha last week.
Oh, yeah? I figured if you were into the
Sam's
Gaga, you'd probably be into the Kesha.
I know you've never met Sam. Sam's a character from back in the DP Discord days.
Yeah.
She goes back that far.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she is, if you think in your mind, stereotypical girly girl, it's Sam. Well, maybe not stereotypical girly girl. She's not like a Barbie princess type of girl, but you get my drift.
Yeah.
She likes the shows. She likes the movies. She likes the music and the fashion. I think one of the reasons I enjoyed Sam back in the day is because she kind of reminds me of my little sisters in a way when they were younger. She's older, or as old as that. She's in her 20s now. Sam is. Princess Sam, yeah. Pretty much. Sam was a lightning rod on the DP Discord because she wasn't like a neckbeard degenerate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know how men don't know how to talk to women that are neckbeard degenerates. So Sam was always a little irritant in the server.
I'm just a picky bitch when it comes to music.
I mean, hey, dude, you have every right to be. You know what you like to listen to. And plus, like when you're on road trips with me, I tend to commandeer shit.
Yeah.
So you have to sit and listen to my boomer music all the time. I'm a neckbeard. I mean, Sam, you're the girliest neckbeard ever. You like neckbeard stuff. Obviously, you were a Drunken Peasants fan. So you're an aficionado. Still can't believe DP days were 10 years ago, bro. It's crazy. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. You're gonna tickle me? I'm not all that ticklish, though. Make mustard great again. Who made mustard not great? Mustard's always been great. I'm trying to fight. I'm in Madera, California. Well, fuck, dude. I don't even live within fucking 700 miles of there now. You done fucked up. You caught me like 2 years later. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Any of those times would have been fine. I'd have pulled up and whooped your ass real quick. Ran through your pockets, but I'm not driving 800 miles for $2 and a fucking CVS card. You know what I'm talking about? But I would have happily fucking whooped your ass and ran through your pockets a couple years ago, bro. What's your backstory? Tell us. Okay. Nobody ever asked that. My name is Paul. I was born and raised in California. Worked normal blue-collar jobs my whole life until 2015 when I was invited to become part of a show called The Drunken Peasants, and I did it. The show got big and big and big while I was on it. It was already big, and then got big, big, big. And then that show broke up, and I went and started a new show called Deep Fat Fried, and that show is still ongoing and still how I make my money. And I do these like types of streams just to chill, to keep the instruments sharp, and because I have an incessant need to communicate. And no one or two or three people in my life could ever absorb it. And so this is a kind of a cool way for me to work out my crazy brain. Where do you watch these shows? Right here on YouTube, friend. You can search for Drunken Peasants and go look back to 2015 if you want to see me. 2016, 2017. You can go look at Deep Fat Fried. You can look at Onion Nuggets. You can go check out Cinema for Cynics. I have a lot of successful channels. All of them here on YouTube. So you can take a look. What's the show about? Yeah, the show is just like this, kind of. Like, we're neckbeards, we're funny. And we talk about the news, and we talk about things that are interesting to us, and all that stuff. What's the difference between a Lamborghini and a dead body? I don't have a Lamborghini in my garage. That could work both ways. If you're rich. Be like, what's the difference between a dead body and a Lamborghini? I don't have a dead body in my garage. I like it here. I feel safe. I mean, it's, there's landmines that you could step on. You want to be aware, but yeah, I'm a pretty chilled dude. Yeah, this is a genuine corner of YouTube. They don't make them like me anymore. I've been doing this 20 years. It'll be 20 years in 2026. And this year will be 10 years making all my money as a professional podcaster. 10 years, 20 years on YouTube next year, which is pretty wild. Yeah, check out the content. And and subscribe if you think it's cool. OG, yeah. You know, I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I am, yeah. I know my way around YouTube. I know what I'm doing. It's a thing, for sure. You are handsome, but not in a gay way. It's okay if it's in a gay way. I'm a bisexual guy, so you can be a little bit gay with me. What stimulates you intellectually? People. People and their ideas. I love sitting down across the table from somebody and talking about what I believe and learning what they believe. What do you think, chess nerds? And is it, you know, chess is as deep as you want it to be, right? And I don't know. I know a couple of chess nerds. I used to kind of be a chess nerd when I was a kid. I don't know. It's a fun game. Definitely like eat your life if you get into it in the way that some people do. You're not gay, your boyfriend is. I see what you did there. Hello, Norway. I'm in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Washington State, to be specific. So we are wrapped around the globe from each other, friend. But still talking. Isn't that interesting? I know it's an old guy thing, but I have to say it every once in a while. It is so cool to me that people from all the way on the other side of the globe can talk to me and see what I'm doing. You know, and I could see what you're doing. That's nuts. Is your work comedy? It's probably closest to comedy. You know, we're not always trying to go for the ha-has, but most of the time, yeah, we're trying to be funny. We like to be a place where people can come and like find out what's going on in the world, but get kind of a little bit of a funny, you know, pessimistic kind of perspective on it that isn't all about depression. At least as a white person, you're likely to get due process in your country. Well, that all depends on money. You know, I mean, I would love to really second voice you on that one, but I can't. Broke ass white people get shafted in this country. Trailer people and, you know, the stereotypical PWTs, ditch bank okies, poor white trashes, right? I come from that, and those people get raked over the coals here too. So it's more about money than it is race. I'm not saying race isn't part of the mix. You are more likely, as a black person, to suffer greatly from the obvious slings and arrows of poverty. You think it's insulting to call people trash? Yeah, absolutely. A porch honky? That works. However you want to self-identify, sir. Who's that actor that you had a list named after? Huh? Oh, the Jude Law. Yeah, Jude Law list. That's old shit. But yeah, no, the Jude Law list, yeah. AKA when I was still closeted, guys that I would go gay for. But any straight guy that would go gay for a number of guys is probably a little gay. What old war movie was made on a tiny budget? I don't know, man. I don't know. You tell me. It's funny you were by the whole time. Well, I mean, like, I didn't know it. I mean, I knew it, but like when you're in the closet that deep for that long, you don't really get used to playing straight. Not well traveled internationally at all. I've never really been out of the United States. I've been to Mexico a couple of times, but I'm a Californian, so I don't really count that. I would love to. I would love to get the opportunity to go to Europe and stuff. Asia. Love to go to China. There's a lot of places I'd like to go, but man, dude, I've just never, I'm not a rich guy. I never have been a rich guy, probably never will be. And it is so hard for me to look at 5 or 10 grand and go like, yeah, let's go take a trip and watch that disappear. People, you say you have anxiety sometimes, yet you're so comfortable in front of a camera and natural. That's just practice, man. I just got done telling you I've been doing these types of things for 20 years. If you go back and watch my first video, so you go find a channel called Ideology and you look at the first video on it, that's the first video I ever uploaded on YouTube. And that video, you're not going to see the same guy sitting there. I mean, you might be able to tell it's me, and the personality might be similar, but I was not comfortable with the camera at that point. And now it's second nature to me. To the point where I don't even, like, I'll forget it's on. Like, I sat out here with my dad and had conversations where I was only minorly aware that we were being recorded because I just lose myself in it. I've never been to prison. Yeah, I'm clean as a whistle, never been arrested, never, nothing. Never been in trouble, really. I've been in trouble with friends and family, but I've never crossed the law in a significant way. I got a couple speeding tickets and a parking ticket or two, your average dude. But yeah, you can run my fucking background information and shit. My name's Paul Parkey. Go check it out. Well, yeah, cameras can be unsettling for people. Remember that time I got wasted and fought some bikers? Which time? I mean, you're gonna have to narrow it down because, like, I've been through that. That used to be a pastime of mine. You know what I'm talking about? Summer of 2010. Once again, which one? That was a wild fucking summer. You're gonna have to narrow it down further. Because the summer of 2010 was probably when I beat the most biker ass in my life, probably. That year. You just having to pick the year. Where I was really like, that was my shit in 2010, was finding bikers, picking fights, and beating them to death, and then stealing their bikes. That was my gig back then. Like, I was, a middleman for Harleys and stuff. So you're going to have to narrow it down further, because I've kicked a lot of biker ass. A lot. Is Hollywood a seedy business? Yes. Bar near Arizona when we went and hooked up with some street walk. Okay, all right. I now remember you. Yeah. All right. Now the Arizona narrows it down because I was crisscrossing. Yeah. I remember that one. That was wild. Yeah. You were pretty good in a fight. Thanks for landing on that grenade too. You let me take the hot streetwalker and you took the one with no teeth. So I appreciate that. You're a good fella. I owe you one. Yeah, I always promised, back in them days, cherry, Cherry is how I sell them. Breaking methyl body go. Oh, no. Cool accent. Where are you from? I'm from California. California. My accent's a little weird, though. Yeah, it's a little weird. I've got a bit of a weird accent. How's that working out for you, being clever? I got a little bit of country in me. That's when I get up in that upper register. Yeah, a lot of people mistake it for like East Coast or something, but that upper register is my country register. It's up here. I got rid of the twang, but I never got rid of the speaking style. And so when you hear me talking like that, you know what that is, right? So I'm a little bit of that, a little bit of like Valley, California accent, and, you know, a mishmash of general California accents, I guess. Man, I think there's some crackheads in the audience tonight, guys. I have a mouth but do not speak. I have a bed but never sleep. What am I? You are a river. Are you rich? I'm drowning. I just bought a Cuban and I dipped it in a fountain. Chain got so heavy like I'm holding up a mountain. Everywhere that I go, it's a light show. I'm surrounded. Bust down, bust down, bust down, bust down, bust down, bitch. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. This guy's rich. I'm not a big stepper. I'm not a big flexer, but yeah. I got rich early in life, sold my company, and now I just kind of am for a living, you know? I'm drowning. I'm drowning. You smoke like a fucking chimney. And watch that new Superman movie. I produced that new Superman movie. I've seen it. I'm drowning. I'm drowning. Don't smoke, dude. Don't give advice to people who are your betters. Man, somehow I got this far without your advice. Ended up filthy, disgusting, fucking rich. How much is tobacco in California? Bro, I haven't paid for something myself in so long. I don't know what the price of anything is. Do you really produce it? Yeah, I'm one of the producers. Well, my company is. You worried about your lung health? Nah. I've got great doctors, and rich people have ways of getting around lung problems that poor people don't have. Like, there's a Cuban, for example, you don't know this, right? Probably. You can go look it up, though. There is a Cuban vaccine for lung cancer. I take my trip twice a year to Cuba, right, through the Dominican Republic, to get my lung cancer vaccine. Why do you keep talking about how rich you are? Because somebody asked me about it. Did you just pop in? Somebody asked me how rich I was, and I'm trying to explain it to them in a way that people would understand. Are we called peasants? Nah, I don't use that term. How rich am I? Dude, it's gonna sound like bullshit, but I don't know how much I'm worth on paper. If I had to give you a round number, I'd say a couple $100 million. But I think I could probably come up with double that. Thoughts on the Epstein client list? I mean, a lot of those dudes are my friends. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet, okay? I'm not a fucking millionaire. Are you guys kidding me? Dude, I'm a brokey. Listen, I can't. I'm the type of guy. I feel no. I feel I have no moral compunction with lying for a little while. But don't let charisma and charm. Okay. don't let don't let it get up under your skin. Faith had me pegged, but a couple of you guys were like, a couple of you guys were buying in. You know what I'm talking about? I could have kept that going all stream, and you would have left thinking you met this crazy eccentric rich guy. You know? Nah, you were finna beg. I can't help you, brother. Paul, when you were much older, would you let an AI caretaking bot? No. No, my company invents. My company is an AI company, so I won't need to allow it. I already have integrated AI. All right, it's something that all of you will be purchasing in the next 10 years. But yeah, because I'm so rich. Water, I just bought her, look, I dipped it in a fountain. Fake it till you make it, baby. When I do get rich, like if I ever do create a company and sell it for like millions and millions, right? I'll be ready to talk about it because I do this all the time. When people ask impertinent questions like, yo, dude, how much money you got? I figure like they don't deserve the real answer to that. They don't know me. So I'm going to give them a fake answer. And so I go down that road. I'm like, I don't fucking know, bro. I honestly don't know. The protest in LA cooled down. The pictures we saw in the news in Germany looked like you guys were about to start a civil war. That's LA. Take it from a California native. LA, I'd say on a time scale of about every 10, 15, 20 years, erupts and burns itself a little bit. And that's just the California kind of thing, right? Who cares? I mean, you do. You've been here for fucking. Don't be mad at me because you were all fucking psyched that I was rich. That's not my fault. That's your fault. Glad I dipped out of California. You're not alone, bro. California's economy is dependent on dumb rubes landing there, thinking that they're going to make it because they're from Georgia and they know how to be Georgia successful, and then they bounce off of that motherfucker like a bullet bounces off of a Kevlar vest, bro. That's the whole economy. Like, you show up to California, you leave behind a bunch of wealth pursuing something that you weren't prepared for, and then you move on back to Kentucky. And somebody in Cali got fucking rich off of you. That's one of the major economic drivers in California is dumb hillbilly hicks, East Coasters that think that like, oh man, I'm Miami rich, so let me head out to Cali. I'm ready for Cali, bro. But don't tell anybody that. Everybody thinks they got it, and about 10% of the people that land in Cali end up settling. I think that's what it is. As people are leaving Cali, there's a stream of big doe-eyed dollar green dream motherfuckers coming in with everything they own strapped to the top of a minivan, right? They come here and crash and burn. Yeah, I've seen it a million times, bro. It's just like people outside of California get offended when Californians talk like this because they don't understand what the state is. But when you've been a hustler, like I was born and raised there, so I had no choice but to hustle. Like you don't, right? Plus, when you're born and raised, you got family. You got a fallback that people don't have. You got nobody in California, and you think you're gonna pack up from fucking Mississippi, come and live in California because you make a good living out there, bro, you're dead. I would tell 90% of people that try California to stay on home. It's not a place for fucking Southerners, people with that slow pace, people that don't know how to have two fucking side gigs. You're not a Californian, bro. Every single human being that I've known that's survived in California for longer than a decade is a straight hustler. And I'm not talking about illegal shit. I'm not excluding it either. I'm just saying they know how to get their guap up. You have to. It's a place for delusionals. Somebody bounced off California. Somebody bounced off California. It's okay, dude. You're not alone. I just got done telling you that 90% of people like you, right? Bounce right off that shit. And if you've never been to California, you got no room to speak. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. I live in the forest. Back then I lived rural. Yeah, countryside. But, 2 hours from everything, right? So San Francisco one way, LA the other. Beach, mountains. I lived right in the heart. Like if you took a pen and tried to find the geographical center of California, that's where I'm from. Right in the Central Valley. A little town called Madera. Hi from Sweden. Hey, Sweden. Yeah. I could tell, Johnny, because you immediately knew what I was talking about when other people were going like, no, blah, blah. People in other states get salty, and people from California know. And I knew you were in California. I knew that you were settled there and maybe had been there, right? California's beautiful. It's got everything. There's a reason why so many millions of people want to be there, right? And I'm not just talking about American people. I'm talking about internationally, right? There's a reason. It's beautiful. The climate on the coast especially is just absolutely gorgeous. You got every type of landscape that you could possibly want. It ain't something you can teach, bro. Like people that are born there have a leg up on you because they, like I said, they got family, they got friends, they got bros, right? They grew up, they got connections in California. If you show up with a fucking stick with a handkerchief tied around it and all your dreams in it, bro, there's not a single motherfucker in that state that's going to help you up. Cali takes care of its own. And if you want to be one of Cali's own, you've got to fucking prove yourself. You've got to make yourself it. You've got to show everybody around you, from all the little retired grandmas to all the little kids, that you're not a fuckboy. California love, indeed. I'm just trying to be real, though. When I talk about it like this, a lot of people go, oh, yeah, whatever, bro. And they're sitting in Kentucky, right? And they don't know shit. They watch Fox News and they think that fucking San Francisco is just a giant homeless person turd now, right? Like they don't have a fucking clue what California is. And when you tell them straight about how they probably wouldn't make it in California, they're always the exception, right? They go like, this guy don't know what he's talking about, man. I fucking kill it over in Cali. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't, player. You just wouldn't. Yeah, you go off the media, you go off the what you've seen in the movies, but you never live the life, bro. I wouldn't expect to do super great in Kentucky, but I've lived all over this fucking country. And I've never had a place that fucking kicked me out or I couldn't make it. I've lived in Texas, Arizona, Louisiana, Ohio. Right? Just born and raised Cali, though. People don't know that, though. If you listen to Republicans, conservative types of people from the South, they'll say Cali's easy mode. Well, everybody gets everything paid for them. It's like, motherfucker, keep dreaming. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Well, I'm not in Cali now. I live in Washington State now. I'm still on the West Coast. But yeah, this December, I moved out of Cali again, around where my family lives. I lived in that area for about 4 or 5 years, and I'm up in Washington now. And I'm way out in the fucking woods. I'm not actually in a city. I have a rural address here, so. But yeah, I'm still on the West Coast. I think of Oregon and Washington as northern California, No, I mean, yeah, you're right, Johnny. I get the point, but like, what they really will be doing is moving back home and moving back in with mom for a couple fucking weeks till they get back on their feet, back in Kentucky or Louisiana or whatever little hellhole they came from, right? Mama gets a phone call about 6 months after this Cali nonsense. Mama, I can't make it out here. It's crazy. I need to come home. And then Meemaw says, oh, come on home, Cletus. I tried to warn you. Everything's so expensive here, Mama. I've been working my job and I can't make it. Get on over here then, Cletus. What you messing around for? Come on back to Kentucky. Okay, Meemaw. Okay. That's basically how most people's California dream begins and ends. Why'd you put me on a cool down? I didn't, man. I don't touch the poop ever. I got wrenches on the squad. They police you. Whatever you don't even fucking bring it up. You're back. Just, you know what I mean? My wrenches are fucking wild cannons, bro. Don't you ain't gotta be sorry. Whatever you did, you served your time. You're a free man. Yeah, people don't like it when I talk about like the actuality of California because it defies the narrative that they have. And a lot of times the narrative that they have is some salty family member, some great uncle of theirs tried California and boomeranged, and now their whole family has lore like California's a shithole. Well, there are shitholes in California, sir. So I guess you're right about that. But California itself is a state of hustlers and creatives and entrepreneurs. And if you're not one or all three of those things, you may as well stay in Kentucky, sir, because nobody thinks your rib sauce is any good out in California. You know, your little restaurant that's doing good in Fuckwater, Mississippi, won't even get off the ground in California. Won't even get permitted, bro. So don't come. The red tape is too thick for your scissors. And cult, whatever you want. Name something, it's in Cali. That's the point. Name something, it's in Cali. Good, bad, or otherwise. Gang members? Oh, hell yeah. Guns? Gun deaths? Yes, sir. Every type of cultural fucking expression on the planet, from food to clothing? Yeah. Every language spoken on the planet? Yeah. Every type of art? Every movie that matters? Every musician that matters? Yeah. Strong unions? Yeah. Police gangs? Yeah. What I would call mega city? Yeah. LA, I think, qualifies now at this point as a mega city. Yeah. Desert? Yeah. Rainforest? Yeah. Foothill? Yeah. Ocean as far as the eye can see and fucking thousands of miles in both directions? Yeah. Islands? Yeah. See what I mean? You're starting to get the point of California? Losers? Yeah. Scumbags? Yeah. Grifters? Yeah. Salty ass fucking people trying to move out because mama's house was easier back in Kentucky? Yeah. Tons of those. I'm describing Ontario if Ontario had a great granddaddy, right? I hear this from people. People will go like, sounds like Miami. And I'm like, no, nah. Sounds like California. There's not a single state. There's one place you can be born that I think might prepare you for the level of hustle required in LA or just California in general, right? One place on the continent that I'll speak for, because the people that I've met there have, by and large, done well in California. New York City. Not New York State, not upstate, not Albany, not Buffalo. New York City, Manhattan, the 5 boroughs, and the surrounding city. You grew up there and did okay, you're probably okay in California. You're probably going to do way better than your average Joe in Cali, but that is the only place in the world that I know of. Of course, speaking for things like Beijing, and I've never been to these other commerce centers. I have been to New York. And I've met people, a lot of people from New York living in California. And they tend to do okay. People in the West Coast, too, if you were born and raised in Oregon. I'm not saying it's going to be easy for you, but you got a leg up. But these people that come from the Midwest, the South, the East Coast, living that country dumpy lifestyle, that antebellum fucking sipping a mint julep lifestyle, where the plumber says he's going to be there at 5 and shows up at 8 the next day, that type of lifestyle, bro, that eats you alive in California. You get eaten for breakfast. Somebody strips your pockets clean, and you go back to Meemaw with a hard luck story. That doesn't exist in California for long enough for the vultures to pick it clean. I'm not even speaking ill of the vultures. The vultures are part of the process. You know, just like a vulture in the desert cleans up the fucking poop. Unfortunately, in California, people are the currency. You are the poop. If you didn't if everybody in America right now stopped bringing their dollar green dreams and all of their money that they've saved up in these other states where less is required, frankly, and leaving it all in California before they go home penniless, then California wouldn't do what it does. It wouldn't be able to. So they're part of the California economy is that long line of motherfuckers with their whole lives strapped to the top of their cars coming in, bumping into that whole line of motherfuckers with their whole lives strapped to their cars, and a lot less than when they came, going out. Where do you think all that money went? Where do you think all those goods and services that they brought with them went? All them savings that they saved up? Who got that? Somebody that was in Cali. A Cali business person got that. I've never met someone who's left home for Cali. This is interesting news. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people know, like, get it. Like, I don't think it's like a hidden thing when I'm telling you that Cali is a place where hustlers win and everybody else loses. I don't think that's like some kind of deep wisdom. I don't think I had to be born there. I think there's a lot of people that know it. I just think there's a lot of people that don't. And thank goodness for that, for Cali. Because like I said, huge part of their economy is eating people's dreams, picking people's pockets out while their dollar green dreams come flowing out and they realize it ain't gonna work, and then sounds like someone who's never really lived the Cali life. I was born and raised in California. Born in 1980 in St. Agnes Hospital in Fresno, California. Lived there until I was 18, moved to Arizona for 2 years, boomeranged back. Lived there again till I was from 21 till 35. Moved to Texas. Lived in Texas for a year and change, almost 2 years. Moved to Washington State. Lived there for a year. Moved to, Texas to Ohio. Ohio to Washington State. Washington State to Louisiana. Louisiana back to California for the last 5 or so years. And then this December, we moved to Washington State again. So if you do the math on all of that, 90% of my life has been spent in California, maybe 85. And I was born there. So whoever that was should just slink the fuck out on their belly like a worm because they've been corrected. If you boil down the lesson you learned from the brief stint as a NEET into one sentence, what would it be? Nothing good lasts forever. Honestly, dead ass honestly. Enjoy it while you got it. Don't take shit for granted. Because someday your mom's going to kick you out. Hi, redneck. I don't take no offense to that shit, bro. Redneck started as a labor movement. People would tie red handkerchiefs around their necks in rural farm protests. So I'm a labor kid. My dad was a union leader for a lot of my childhood, and I have very strong union affiliations, and I argue for unionization and such. So I take redneck with pride for sure. Mm-hmm. Honestly, what got you out of the NEET stuff? No, dude, so here's my story, okay? I was only a NEET for about 6 months. Maybe 8 months. So I got a scholarship out of high school for theater, full ride scholarship to Fresno State University. And so that was going to be what I was supposed to do. And my parents had this deal with me. As long as you're in school, you can stay at home. But as soon as you're not in school, you need to start getting a job and looking for your own place, right? So I went to school, and I was really pretty good in high school. But when I got to college, I still felt like I was a little kid, and I felt like everybody else around me was adults. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I feel like maybe I didn't mature as fast as some of the other kids. Like, by 18, I wasn't like... I just felt like I didn't have the same mentality as people that were around me by that age. And so I dropped out, but I didn't tell my parents. I lied to them, and I told them that I was still going to school, and I kept living at home. And that period when I was lying to my parents and living at home, I was a NEET, because I would get up in the morning and I'd get in my car and I'd leave like I was going to school. And I would drive somewhere and wait until I knew my mom, my stepmom, and my dad were at work, and then I'd come home and I'd be home all day smoking pot, playing fucking StarCraft, Ultima Online. I was kind of reverse catfishing a 29-year-old woman for about 3 years, starting when I was 15. I guess I don't know how that works, but it did. You know what I mean? I've always had like a deeper voice. And so I met this chick on a very early VC chat program called M Player. You'd have to look it up. The letter M Player. Doesn't exist anymore, but it was one of the first like Ventrilo / voiceover IP kind of places you could go. And I met her there. She was 29 years old and married. I told her I was 22 and single. I was dating a chick in high school at the time, but carrying on a simultaneous like phone sex, internet, I don't know what you call it, right? Type of relationship with a 29-year-old woman. So, that's what I was getting up to at that time. You know what I mean? So anyway, like I was 18, parents thought I was going to college. I was not. The college called my dad and basically told him like, hey, we need to close out your account because you haven't attended any classes. And my dad was like, what? Right? They were trying to get a hold of me, but my dad's name is my name. They asked for Paul, right? They're going to get my dad. And so my dad figured out I was still 18. I think I was just about to turn 19 when they found out. And he said, you're out. And I went to my mom because they're divorced. And my mom and him had already talked. And she said, nope, you're out. And so I had a friend named Rodney who lived in Arizona. I got a hold of him. He had been calling me like all over the place, going like, dude, you got to come to Arizona. Jobs are easy to get. I got an apartment. It'll be chill. Come on, we'll be roommates. And I was like, oh, maybe, man. You know, I'm sitting there kneading it up, sitting in a puddle of my own jism and sweat, right? Like, I'm not going to do that there. But, you know, now that I'm going to be homeless in a month, because that's what I was given. I was given 30 days to figure out what the fuck I was doing, and they were going to put my shit on the lawn. But if within that 30 days I found something, my dad said, you can use my truck. I'll drive you there and drop you off. So anyway, I was a NEET for about a year, give or take. And as soon as my parents found out that I was needing, I was kicked out of the house and forced not to be a NEET. And ever since then, I've, you know, done this whole thing. I didn't really date the girl. Your dad is right. Unions are obsolete. The state needs to be protected workers like China. Well, maybe you're right, but I don't know how that works. I know how we get from A to B, so, you know, I think that unions are the best way that you can protect yourself now, right? But I took that stuff my dad said to heart. He's not a stupid man, you know, and he knows more than I do about the functionality of a union. Not saying I agree with everything he said, but, you know, it's been rolling around in my mind. How could it not, right? It's a man I respect. Jesus, that's such a bad take. Holy Christ. Well, maybe. I don't know. What'd you do for a living in Arizona? So my first job that I got down there, it was actually kind of fucking cool. I looked, and there were all these tech startups in Arizona right at that time. And one of them was in the city I was living in. So I lived in Chandler. My friend Rodney, when I first moved there, lived in Phoenix, but like within 2 days of me moving there, he was moving to a new apartment in Chandler, which was closer to his job, and he worked at Motorola, which is a big job. He made a good salary there. And he was young. He was my age, right? And so I started applying around, right? And I got a job offer at a place called the MCI WorldCom, which is a company that used to be huge. It's now defunct because it went under, right? And I was one of the people that was laid off when that happened. But I worked at a call center doing tech support for HP Pavilion PCs. Most of them were bought in like Targets and Walmarts. So I went through like a 6-week training program, a lot of which was remedial for me because my dad was kind of a computer nerd, so I knew a lot of this stuff, but it was required, and I did learn some stuff, especially about how to do tech support, right? And I worked that job for about 8 months, and then one day I showed up to it, and there was a pink slip. A bunch of people standing outside, and I was pink slipped, given my, hey, you're being let go, not because of anything you did, but because the company is restructuring, is what it said on our pink slips. What ended up happening is the company went literally tits up in the .com crash. And so it was just before the year 2000, I went out and I applied around, right, to everything, basically gas stations, grocery stores, whatever. And I got 2 callbacks that day. I got a call back from a gas station that wanted me to come in that night for a night shift and learn how to do it. And I got a call from Starbucks that wanted to interview me the next morning. And I thought, Starbucks is probably going to be a more chill job than a gas station midnight shift. So I told the gas station, thanks, but no thanks. And I kind of bet the farm on getting a job at Starbucks, and I did. I started as a barista there, and I worked my way up to assistant store manager or acting store manager for a couple of weeks. And I was a hiring guy for a while. And I would go around to different Starbucks. I was an opener, is what they called me, not just in terms of when I started working, but when there was a new store, I was a good guy to have around because I was really good at bar and stability and learning the new thing and training people. So that's what I did for about 8 years. And then after that, I got a job opportunity through my brother-in-law at the school district to do tech support. And I did that for another 8 years. I quit that to go back to school. I was going to go back. I had saved up enough money, and my wife at the time had a job that would have sustained us just fine. And so we made plans for me to quit my job and go back to school full time. I started doing that. My marriage fell apart. I kind of grabbed a duffel bag full of stuff and my computer. I moved to Texas. I got a job in podcasting soon thereafter with a bunch of guys. I'd been a guest on their show, and I kind of asked them, hey, you got any work? They said yes. I was hired, and the rest is kind of history. That brings you up current, kind of, right? I started podcasting. That was 2015 when I started podcasting, and it is now 2025. So 10 years of that, right? Still get nostalgic when you make coffee at home. Yeah. I mean, like, I kind of, I'll be honest with you guys. Of all of those blue collar type of jobs I worked, Starbucks was the best one. 100%. I was kind of shocked to hear your dad say unions had outlived their usage when he was one of their biggest beneficiaries, not trying to talk shit. Well, my dad is a pessimist and a realist like I am. It was surprising to me too, but I sat and listened to him, not just during that conversation, but he and I fucking just talked for like 10 days straight. And we talked about that again and again, right? And the way he explained it to me was, from a realistic perspective, the amount of corruption that he saw as a high-ranking local official when it came to the not corporate, but international. When it came to international, he said that the barrier was so corrupt and bad that he didn't believe in it anymore. And he says that hasn't gotten better, PJ, is what he told me. It's gotten worse. So you're asking working people to give their money to these people that are just partying on it, and to barely any benefit. Now, I don't agree with them to the barely any benefit, and I brought that up. I said there are certain unions that'll show up and show out. He's like, yeah, teachers, state unions. And I was like, Teamsters? He was like, yeah, everybody leans on the Teamsters. He's like, well, who else? Automotive workers, maybe. He's like, if you're in those industries, yeah, join the union. But this whole, like, let's unionize our Starbucks thing, he's like, it just seems like a grift at this point because there's so much grift and graft already. So I understand where he's coming from. Like I said, I don't understand. I don't agree, I don't think, 100%. I think that unions could be something that we could wrest it back a little bit, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, for 10 years, I make a media, all I do is podcasting. I'm not even really social media. I do right here on YouTube. This is my side channel, one of my side channels, but you can look me up here. Look at Cinema for Cynics on YouTube. That's me. Look at Deep Fat Fried. That's me and my partners, TJ and Scotty. Look at Onion Nuggets. That's our simul streaming channel that's monetized, but it's the same thing as Deep Fat Fried. You can become a channel member there, though, if you like it. Got a Patreon called Pessimist Productions. That's how I make my money. So if you went and looked at all of that, you would know where my money comes from. Yeah. Ideology is alive, Aiden. You may not have heard. Out of the fucking blue, like 6 months ago, I appealed it again with a semi-blank appeal. I just was like, this was wrong. It was wrong that I was banned. Please reverse it. And it's back. Go look. Everything's back. Yeah. I haven't touched it because I'm kind of afraid of it. And I don't know what I want to do. Yeah, it's back, bro. Go look. If you never unsubscribed, you're still subscribed. I just haven't done anything on it forever because I don't want to fuck with it. But it's back, baby. Fully monetized and everything. Yeah. So. Pretty crazy. I can go all parasocially watch all your old content again. Yeah, for real. No, I mean, I can too. Like, I can point to it. If I say, like, I've had a position for 20 years, I can point to it. Right? That's so valuable as currency. It's like it's my credibility to a certain extent. It shows the continuity of my thought. right? So that when people call me a grifter, I can go, I'm a 20-year long fucking unbroken grifter, right? That channel going down was devastating to me. So the fact that it's back, I don't even want to touch it because just leave it. I've since had a couple of people come to me and tell me that they've archived the entirety of the channel. So if it goes down again, at least I don't lose that shit with my blessing. So if it goes down again, one of them will boot up and it'll still be there. Yeah, man. So yeah, when you're done chilling in here and you're bored in the future, you feel like fucking dipping back into 2007, 8, 9 Paul, go check it out. It's all there. But yeah, that place in a lot of ways is my credibility. It shows the continuity not just of my thought and my belief, but it shows when I've changed tact, and it shows personality continuity and how I've changed since I was a 20-something-year-old man and now I'm in my 40s. It's a lot of time. It's like my journal, right? So that's how I think about that. Pretty crazy how these things pan out. Yeah. If you had only known what was coming. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was a kid that I always thought I was broken in some way, because when I was real little, I used to say, I want to be this, I want to be that, like every kid. But when I actually got like to middle school and shit, I was like, I don't really want to be anything. And everybody else was going like, yeah, we'll be a cop, we'll be a doctor, we'll be an astronaut, you know, like, and I was like, I won't be a comic book designer, you know, like, I don't know. I was a nerd, dude. I was just like a geek, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something creative and something fun, but I didn't know. And for most of my life, I did what I had to do, not what I wanted to do anyway. So, you know, but when an opportunity came to make a little scratch doing something creative and actually making money at it, I was already doing YouTube as a hobby, right? But when an opportunity came, hey, we'll pay you X amount of dollars every month to be on these shows and just be a fucking guy on the show, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. When you realize life is mostly sacrifice with little reward. Yeah. Well, you know what it is, bro. It is what it is, though. I hate that saying because it's so dismissive, but that one really is what it is. If that's the truth, then you got to make the best of what is, right? I kind of feel the same way a bit. As a kid, I did not really know what I wanted to do. I eventually settled down with food business because I hate myself, apparently. Oh, man, I mean, food business is fine, and you found something that you're good at, and that, you know, whatever, bro. I'm kind of like a unicorn in that, like, I just knew the right people and got myself because, like, one of the things that freaks me out right now is, like, you know, if you talk to a kid, if you talk to a middle schooler right now and you ask them what they want to do, when I was a kid, literally, I looked this up. When I was a kid, the most popular answer demographically was an astronaut or an actor, right? Now it's content creator / influencer. And there are 1 billion people right now desperately trying to make $1 and a cent doing what I do. And I'm not trying to be fucking mean. Because I've been doing it so long is why I can do it. It is practice, and it's knowing people. That's why when people come to me and they're like, oh, how do I do this? Or what should I do there? I almost want to tell them, like, you got to win the lotto. You can't. No amount of editing and no amount of production is going to get you there. Don't throw good money after bad, because this is the thing that everybody wants to be right now. I'm not big and rich, but I make enough money every goddamn month to pay my bills and then some, and that's all I care about. Don't bother is kind of like the quick way to put it. It's like, don't put all your eggs in that basket. Do it on the side while you're building some other skill, right? And if it takes off, you won the lotto, bro. You got to be a certain combination of charismatic, talented, and lucky. I don't know how else to tell you that, without. It's the new I want to be an astronaut. Yeah, because like how many of those little kids when I was a kid got to be astronauts? Probably 10 of them. Like it's fucked. But that's kind of the truth of this too. And people will flex like they're making money because that's how sometimes people get famous and make money. But there's a lot of perpetrating going on in the content creation community. I'll let you know that, right? It's a fake it till you make it thing. So a lot of people, you think content creators are rich at this level or at X level, they're not. You know when content creators get what I would call rich, and I mean rich, not upper middle class or not middle class. I'm talking rich. When you get to like, I'll name guys that I know, Kyle Kalinske, TJ was probably pretty fucking rich at one point, right? When you get up over 1 million subscribers, right? And you have multiple channels in the works, you got a podcast in the fire, yeah, you're rich, right? So we're talking people like, I'm trying to think of more normal people, like Aiden, is it Aiden Ross? Aiden Ross, I Show Speed, what's that other kid with the dreadlocks? Those dudes are rich, but how many of them are there? You know what I think of about this? I think of a Jay-Z. I think of a Jay-Z line in a Drake song, of all things, where he says, "Somebody told me, Jay, there ain't many of us. I said, less is more, homie. There's plenty of us." Kai Cenat, yeah. But did you hear that? I'm gonna give it to you. Somebody said, "Jay, there ain't many of us." I said, "Less is more, homie. There's plenty of us." You don't know any of these guys? Yeah, no. The only reason I know them is because I'm a content creator and I watch what's the most popular right now. And what's the most popular right now is being a young dude or chick and doing these kind of like travel streams where you have this big group of side characters that come in and then you go do things, you go to different countries, you go to different events, you create little events, right? But all of that is money, money, money on top of money. I don't like them. Some of them I can't handle. Like, of those ones I mentioned, I kind of like, I think I have the most tolerance for Kai because I just think he's kind of like, I mean, he gets a little fucking crazy hype and stuff, but I think Kai Cenat is kind of the chillest of those three people in real life and as a persona, right? And so when I'm trying to check in on like, oh, what kind of streams is Kai doing, or what kind of streams is that group of kids that are really at the top of that game? What kind of streams are they making? And if I have my choice, I'll probably just check out a Kai clip or something, No, I know speed is insane, right? I mean, that's the apex right now of the type of thing that kids want to do, right? And I'm way down the trough on that continuum. I'm not trying to flex like that's me, but I'm just saying, like, even getting in where I'm at, where you can have a little house, dog and a cat and a wife and a car and, whatever. Like, I'm not rich, but that's, what I got in my life, right? If you want to be able to do content creation and nothing but content creation and make that much money, you're aiming at a fucking target that is so fucking small and you're a mile away. And it took me 10 fucking years, exactly. it's 10 years of work that allows me to do that as well, right? So it's kind of fucking hard to tell somebody, here's how you do it. Because what you should be telling somebody is 99% of people that try this fail, despite how fucking talented they are. You know? But I don't own anything. You know what I mean? I rent this house. I lease the car that's down there. I own the watch. I bought that. I didn't put that on layaway. I own the shirt and the glasses, right? But I don't own anything of significant value, right? I just don't need, right? Like I live a frugal existence. That's the truth. If I were to take you guys on a house tour, which I think is a little invasive, so I'm not gonna. There's nothing up on my walls. My house looks a little sparse. My living room's cool because it's got a rug and a couch, but like, I'm not like, got all these knickknacks and expensive ass geek shit, you know, fucking movie props. I don't have none of that shit. I don't spend my money on that shit. I don't drive a Flexmobile. I don't own a car. It's a luxury car, but it's not a Flexmobile, you know? It's not a fucking foreign, you know, supercar or some fucking high-end bullshit. Right. So I do okay. And if that's what, even if that's what you want to do, but that's what I'm saying, right? That's the fucking, that's what I try and get across to people when people ask me about that shit though. Is like, even if you're aiming at that target where you're getting by, you're okay. You're not going to get rich ever. I will never be rich unless I make something new or some piece of my content blows up. But that's lottery shit, you know? My foot's in the door. I've got that. I got a legacy. I got that. But there ain't no guarantee I'll be doing this 10 years from now, you know? And so if you're, as long as you're willing to admit no show goes on forever, right? Because that's the truth. Then, you know, go for it. I knew what I was getting into when I did it, though, right? And I happen to know people that were already kind of doing it, so it was a leg up, right? Because I'd been doing it for so long, I had bumped into people that were doing it. You might have a better chance of winning a literal lotto. You might, because you can buy multiple lottery tickets. You can take 90 different shots at the lottery. You get one or two at this, and you're burnt. Seen the death of most of the old pre-2015 content space. Yeah. I mean, me and TJ are dinosaurs if you go to that era. And that doesn't mean a lot to kids that are just finding out about YouTube and shit. I don't think it should. But I'm just saying, when you're talking about the job and what it takes to keep that going and how you do it and how you make changes and how you freshen it up, there are like maybe 10 people on the planet who know as much as I do, have as much direct experience. So I'm one of 10 people on the planet. And I mean that sincerely, because there are people that do it more than me and are more successful, right? But there are very few people that can really credibly claim that they've been doing this type of content, right? Or the analog that existed at the time for 20 years. Next year, that will be the case for me. Yeah. And so I'm not trying to chuff up myself or whatever, but I'm probably one of 10 or 20 people on this fucking planet that has that experience, right? And that should let you know how rare 75 people watching you on your side stream and $4.99 is, right? This isn't how I make my money. This is my side channel. I don't ask for money over here. But and that's a low target. You're talking trying to hit a target like Kai Cenat. You may as well say you want to rule the world, right? That's that. There's no spots open. Spots don't open for that ever, right? Kai Cenat dies. There's already people that are way fucking more into it than you that could take up that energy, right? Like you don't even have a doorway to that. You can't even start planning towards it. You got to start where he started. You know where Kai Cenat started? Dog shit. Twitch. Same thing with Speed. Living in a rundown place with a beeping fucking dead battery alarm going off. And it's been going off so long he doesn't know it's there. Right? It started with dirt. Aiden Ross. I think Aiden Ross's dad is kind of rich, but I might be wrong about that. So set him aside. Set the white boy aside.
Or you could go the content farm route. Those content farms.
Oh, yeah. Make a bunch of just garbage AI videos and have that be your life. If that's what you're looking to be, yeah. But I don't think there's many job openings there. There are a fuck ton. There are millions of those channels, all chasing the same dollar bill. So you want to get a nibble of it, go.
Not the pre-AI content farms, like that 5-minute craft shit and that term shit that you covered on the Brain Rock Outlet.
Yeah.
Where it's, questionable actors.
Yeah. Well, Hassan is also the nephew of Cenk Uygur, who has been a rich guy since Hassan was knee-high to a grasshopper. I'm not saying he gave Hassan all that money. What I'm saying is he gave Hassan all that clout. Right? So Hassan has a leg up you don't have. You don't know a dude that knows a dude. Or you don't have an uncle in your family that's a big, rich, fucking content creator guy. Pretty sure the AI content will be tagged by YouTube to block them from making ad revenue. Well, I mean, it depends on how big they are. The rules don't apply if a lot of people are watching your shit. So there's a lot of AI channels right now that are huge. No, the Cenk has been rich since like the early 2000s. Maybe even, well, man, I would give him like 2008, 2007. Cenk's been rich a while. Well, good. Because there's a lot of fucking garbage slop, auto-generated, auto-updated crap going up on YouTube. So, there you go. There is, okay, let me put it this way. There is no content creator that doesn't make enough. There is no such thing as a content creator that doesn't make enough. You are not a content creator until you make enough. Unfortunately, that's just part of it. Before then, you're a hobbyist, and you better not quit the day job. Back in 2006, when I started doing this, I worked at Starbucks. When I continued to do it, I worked at the school district. I didn't quit until I'd been doing it for a long time. Close to 10 years. And I didn't even quit to become a creator. It just happened to slip into that, right? So the whole fucking thing, you need to understand. Nobody even knew what it was in 2006. Just writing a blog was a big thing in 2006. People didn't know about like watching people vlogging and finding these personalities online. It was just hobbyist shit. It was brand new. Wild West shit. I was there at the beginning. I'm one of the few people that's still working in it that was there at the very beginning of it. I was in the first round of people inducted into the first YouTube partner program. So nobody got in before me. I was in that first batch of fucking emails that went out. So that's crazy. Who was the first big content creator on YouTube? The one I remember was this guy named Renetto. You can look him up. I think he might even still be around. I think he's a taxi driver guy now that vlogs and does taxi stuff. Or like Uber. But Renetto was a big content creator back in the day. Fred is another one. Yeah. Yeah, he was huge back then. Nigahiga. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that Nigahiga came along late, though. These guys, those first two guys I mentioned, were like granddaddies to Nigahiga. Nigahiga came around, I would say, like 2010, 2011, maybe even later, 2012. So we're talking about 2006, 7, right? That era. Smosh. Yeah, Smosh got huge. Smosh was like really ahead of their time because they were the first multi-personality channel I remember. Where it's like a bunch of funny guys coming together and doing skits, and now that shit is huge, right? Shane Dawson, but we're talking 2010s now, right? A lot of me and a lot of the guys I just mentioned predate Shane Dawson. Unless I'm misremembering. I don't know if Shane Dawson was around in 2006. I don't think he was. RWJ's 2010s, yeah. Fake and gay. Yeah, that sucked. For me, it was free anime, World of Warcraft, Machinima, and YouTube atheist videos. Yep, we got a tournament planned. Stay tuned. Philly D, yep. Philly D. Boogie, old school. I think he's been around since 2008. Maybe even earlier. Boogie is another example. Keemstar, another example. Keemstar's been around since forever. Used to have a thing, he doesn't talk about it anymore because it had a funny name. He used to have a thing called the Federation of Asshole Gamers. That was abbreviated the FAG. A lot of people don't know that lore because he doesn't really talk about it a whole lot. But I watched Keemstar back then. Brett was big for a little bit on YouTube by proxy. Wonder if YouTube will still exist in like 100 years. Imagine uploaded 85 years ago with like a... Bro, if you go look at some of the old videos, that's impossible. The bit rate has gotten so bad in comparison with just absolutely bog standard tech now that you can barely see what's going on in some of those old videos. So unfortunately, unless somebody starts doing a mass preservation project, a lot of those early videos on YouTube are going to be gone. Yeah, we're just a few, resolution scales from not even being able to tell what's going on or hear what's going on in a lot of those clips. Because the bit rate's so low. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, either somebody will do some sort of upscaling preservation project, or maybe YouTube will do it at some point. It'd be a huge thing. But maybe AI will enable them to do it. But in the absence of that, yeah, a lot of them things are already pretty much gone. It's not about way back. It's not about your ability to find it. It's about your ability to watch it. Go and watch a video. Go on YouTube and try and find a video uploaded from somebody's handy cam in 2006 and tell me how it looks. And then tell me what you think it's going to look like 20 years from now. Right? We're talking about a time before HD was functionally available, right? And then we're talking about HD has happened, and then Plasma level displays were a thing for a while, and then everything turned LCD for a while. Now we're on LED TVs. Now we're at 4K or 8K resolution for a lot of TVs. And these old fucking, below 100p videos that a lot of people uploaded to YouTube back in the day that were visible, just grainy, are now just completely unwatchable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, that's one channel. We're talking about like just the weird archive of human behavior that is every video on YouTube from the very beginning to now. Right? A lot of that is already lost, and more of it gets lost every day. And there's nobody really like trying to do AI upscaling of it all. It would be huge. Be a huge endeavor. Oh yeah, some of the webcams were just absolutely garbage, mine included. You go back to my old channel, you look at my early videos, you can still kind of see me, but you can see that webcam was pretty nice back in the day. I used to have people ask me like, what webcam you use? Because I bought like not the cheapest one, right? Now it's garbage, pixelated as fuck. And my voice is starting to sound tinny and weird and lossy because, the microphone I was using was just garbage. The bit rate on it was garbage. It's degraded over the years as standard bit rates have, moved beyond its range. And so it's starting to sound all hissy and lossy and shitty. If I know, as if you look up some concerts, well, that's because somebody has upscaled it. Somebody has taken what in the 80s was a really, really nice high resolution picture, and they have digitally upscaled it so that it looks clean and nice and it was perfectly preserved in HD or 4K or whatever they've upscaled it to, right? But that's only because somebody cares about that cool old concert from the 80s. What I'm saying is, what about these videos? It's just some random weirdo, right? I'm not saying they're important. I'm saying it's part of the historical record that's lost and being lost, right? Part of the human story. There's a lot of undiscovered stories and people. A lot of people who are dead now, and it's some of their last testaments on this earth were done on that platform back in 2007, 8, 9, and now they're unwatchable, and nobody can ever hope to find who they were, So it goes beyond just like fun or interest or usefulness. It's more about the unbroken record of it all, I remember you holding up your copy of Conan the Barbarian in potato quality. Oh, those were the days, yes. Yeah, I had a Conan versus the Necromancers, yeah. I'd read that. It was in a box of old books my dad left me when he moved out of that condo that I moved into. He had a couple Conan books. He had a couple Stephen King novels in there. It's how I think I got 2 copies of The Shining from him. Because now I've got 2 of his old copies of The Shining, and they're like first editions. Tore up. They're like paperback, but whatever. You like Highlander? Not really. I think it's alright. The first one is okay, but I think it's kind of goofy, and a lot of the people I've seen that are into Highlander don't seem to know that it's goofy. You know what I mean? I need to get something to drink. titties, ass and titties. Ass, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties. Stinking ass bitches need to wash up. Don't get mad, cause I don't wanna fuck. You need soap and water. Soap and water. Soap and water. Ass, titties, ass and titties. Ass, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties. Ass, titties, ass and titties. Ass, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties. You guys have one joint to entertain me. I've been providing all of the entertainment, and now it's your turn. Basically, ask me interesting questions or die. It's a sudden death round. I'm inventing something. We're going into sudden death. The stream is flagging, and we're going into sudden death. You're welcome, Alice Jade. I'm glad that you came out, and I hope the best for you. So, here's what we're going to do. Gonna see Superman? Ricky already gets it. This is all lightning round. It's nothing but questions that you have for me. If it's a dumb question, my mods know what's up. And if it's a kind of boring question, I'm just gonna ignore it. And if it's kind of a fucking good question, I'm gonna answer it. And if I get to the end of this joint and I'm still hella bored, you guys are fucking dead, bro. That's it. What do you think the future of social media looks like? The zombification of children. I'm very pessimistic on social media, and I've already seen what I think is like the beginnings of what's gonna look functionally like children that can't communicate. They throw fits when they don't have it. It's getting fucked up. You think Trump's gonna pull the "it's all the aliens' fault" card soon? I don't know, man. I don't know that he'll ever do it. Already here, honestly. Well, I mean, I think it's gonna get worse then. Real bad then. All right, let's keep them coming. Keep them flowing, chat. There's 74 of you little content vultures sitting in here. And you're on the stage now, bitches, not me. What do you think happens with this Epstein shit? Buried. I think maybe a lot of people will lose their fucking like political careers over it, but Pam Bondi will probably get sacrificed to the wolves or something. And whoever comes in next will just kind of pave it over. But I think it gets buried. There's no way. There's no way they can release a list of like all the leaders and business magnates and actors and famous people that were in dirty with fucking Epstein and going to pedophile island and shit. There's no way that the world's fucking economy could survive that fucking blow right now. As much as it needs to be fucking put out, the people that do this are terrified of accountability. They've lived outside of it for so long, and this little bit of it is going to be buried deep. I wouldn't be surprised if there are no Epstein files anymore. And that's why everybody's going, we'll get them, I guess, man. What are you talking about? Yeah. And the Diddy shit the same month. Oh, they're paving up all of the potholes, bro, because their fucking shit is starting to show. The social media era somehow was created by and crept up on a lot of these fucking people. So, like, I don't know what to say about it other than that. It's all fucking out there now. People know how to track flights. People know how to fucking see who's going in and out of the fucking country and shit. People know how to do this. People know how to, like the internet has fucking like liberated us in terms of our ability to surveil the state. And they've countered by surveilling the fuck out of us. So everybody's watching everybody now. And these guys that have been partying and fucking trafficking children and snorting coke out of fucking 14-year-olds' asses and shit, those dudes are all fucking sweating bullets looking at America right now. They're watching Trump with his pants around his ankles, pretending he doesn't care about the Epstein files when he fucking ran on releasing them. And why isn't Trump releasing them? Well, because him and a lot of his powerful buddies are on those fucking files in a way that he can't pave over. Yes, I did go to Pedophile Island, but I was there to do an accounting job. No, nobody's going to buy that. You were there to get your dick sucked by a kid. So that's never coming out. Aren't you still... oh, yeah. Obscure movies on C4C, for sure. To be honest with you, they'll probably come in the form of these lists, because those did really well, and I actually had a lot of fun doing those. If you watch the old C4C stuff, like here's 10 movies I'll never watch again, or 10 great movies I'll never watch again, or 5 long movies that are worth your time, or 5 horror movies that actually scare me. Those sorts of things is where I'll be able to weave in those kind of like obscure movies that are important to me, for sure. But I don't know, what you're going to see from Cinema for Cynics is going to be likely a lot of what you've seen that built the channel, right? Like, I've never really lost the passion to want to do these franchise reviews. I'm working on the next big one that'll relaunch the channel in a public way. Privately, on our Patreon, patrons are already getting a sneak peek at that. I have a thing I do called Hey Paul, What You Watchin'? That's branded Cinema for Cynics, right? And every time I watch 4 movies, I do a quick video and I give a review of each one, what I thought about it. So obscure, not obscure, movies I've seen before, and movies I've never seen. But I'm currently working on a franchise retrospective of Twilight. I haven't talked about it on any of my social media other than here, but I'm script writing for Twilight. So that is going to be the big what the fuck happened to Twilight, will be the big comeback video, and I think it's going to be insane. In fact, as it exists in my mind at the scripting point, it is fundamentally insane. But it must be birthed. The fuck happened to Game of Thrones would be cool. Yeah, I mean, a show is so much harder to do that on because I love to be sequential. It's like when I do a movie franchise, right? I can cover every movie, but I feel like covering every fucking episode of Game of Thrones would be retarded. So I would have to break it up into like the seasonal highlights, maybe. What the fuck happened to Game of Thrones? And we don't talk about every episode, but we talk about the big moments that happen every episode, what I liked, what I didn't like. That could work, but I think it would... I'm not as passionate about TV as I am about movies, right? So I think that it might suffer from that. Like, a show is a show. I like a good TV show or whatever the fuck, but... Anywho, it's time for me to get out of here. I'll see you guys some other time.